Good day. So today I want to show you how to connect your repository that is within DirectAdmin to your project with Git, so that if you make any changes within Git and you push the changes via Git, it will be automatically updated within your DirectAdmin dashboard, and your website will automatically be updated. I have not found any other tutorial on how to do this, so I decided to create one for whoever finds this video. So, first step we need to do is we need to create the repository that we want to push, or in other words, upload the project into. So I'm already here at DirectAdmin in the dashboard. You must first go to the dashboard, and then you must go to advanced features, at least for me. And then down here I'm going to go to Git, and then I'm going to create a repository. That's my specific domain name. Yours will be different. The name of your repository can be anything. I'm going to name it A Garden Family, as that is suitable for me. I'm then going to create the repository. Now, remote and key file are optional. This is for if you're going to connect it to a remote repository. And that means if you wanted this repository, you know what? Don't worry about that. We just need the name for what we're doing today. So I'm going to create the repository. Voila, there I have created it. You can see the info like that. That's the info of the repository. The next thing we have to do is create an SSH key. Now, an SSH key is required to connect to this repository. This repository has to have the SSH key that your machine has got registered. So you create an SSH key, which is kind of like a password, on the machine, the laptop, the computer you are using, and you take that same SSH key that is on your laptop and you give it to this DirectAdmin so that they can communicate with each other. If you don't have the correct SSH key that you are that your computer that you're using has on here, the same one that's on here, then it will not work. So your SSH key that's on your computer and that's on DirectAdmin has to match. So you may be wondering, how do you create this SSH key? Okay, so you create it like this. You go to your terminal. I'm just going to clear this. I'm going to cd out of here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the following command. You can copy me exactly. Let me just clear this quickly. It's going to be SSH -key gen space -t space RSA space -b space 4096 space -c, capital C or high case C, uppercase C, and then that's dash uppercase C is a comment. So whatever goes after the dash uppercase C is the comment of your SSH key. Comments are used to identify the SSH key. So for this example, I'm just going to say a garden family.co.za, and I'm using that because I'm going to identify this SSH key, so that if I ever look at it in the future, I know this SSH key is for this specific project I'm working on. So you can say anything you want there. You can put your email address, whatever. It's just a comment to identify which SSH key this is. That's all. We press enter and it generates it for you. Then you can just press enter for the default location to be generated. Just leave it default usually. If you want to generate it in a specific location, you can, but I'm going to let it be generated in the default file location. So I'm just going to press enter. A passphrase to access the file. I don't want a passphrase on my file. You can add one on your, you can add one on yours if you like, but I'm going to not put a password on it or a passphrase. So I'm just going to press enter to skip that. I'm going to press enter again to skip it, the password. And there. This means you have generated the SSH key. Now we have an SSH key. The next thing you have to do is you have to find where the SSH key is. Now on Mac, it is within your user, the user that just generated the SSH key. And then you would have to actually, this is how it usually looks within your user. And you would have to press Command Shift full stop or Command Shift period. And that will bring up hidden files. Hidden files are files that start with a dot, with a full stop. And you just scroll and you can find it here. If that did not work for you, you can also just Google how to find your .ssh folder on your specific machine. But in my instance, this is how I found it. So I found it here. This is what we were looking for, the public key. So we want to open this, and that is our SSH key there. You can see this is our SSH key, and then here's our comment to identify it. So I'm going to press Command A, Command C, or if you are on Windows, you can say you can press Control A and then Control C. That will select all of that will select the entire SSH key, and then it will copy it. So now I've got it copied. Then we're going to go back to our domains dashboard, and what we're going to do is we're going to go into advanced features again, and then go into SSH keys. Now we're going to go to SSH keys. Let's keep this simple. And you can see I've already added one in the past. I'm actually just going to delete that for the sake of this video. So now once you're in SSH keys, we want to click on paste key, and then you just want to, on Mac, press Command V, or on Windows, Control V, and that should paste the entire key that you just copied. And then you click on create, and there it says SSH key is authorized. So if I were to refresh this, it should be here. There it is. Hold up. Sorry. I'm just going to redo this because I'm going to paste a new key. I made a mistake there. Just do as I just showed you. You want to click on paste key, then you want to click on create, and there, sorted. We do now have a authorized key here. You can also create public keys for other reasons, but we're not going to. We're just going to have the authorized key. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to go to the project, the specific project. So I'm going to go to my project. Don't worry about that. I'm just resetting it so I can show you guys. Okay, so let me just clear all this up. To start off with, we are going to, give me a moment. Where is this? Where have I put this now? Give me a second. Yes, that's it. Okay, cool. So, what I'm going to do now is we're going to first initialize Git. So if you don't already have your project initialized with Git, if Git isn't already enabled, you will want to type git init, which is short for git initialize. Okay, so now you can see this changed here because Git has been initialized. By the way, I'm using VS Code, but you can just use your terminal. You'll have to go into the project folder and then initialize Git within that folder if you're using your terminal. In my instance, as you can see, I'm already in the correct folder. Okay, once you've initialized Git, you can just say git add full stop or period. This just adds all files for staging. So now all files are ready to be committed. All of them have been added, meaning they are ready to be sent to the branch or committed, like finalized. They're ready to be finalized. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say git commit -m. Now -m means comment or message. Is that a message, I think? Yeah, message, as you can see. And that means just the message for the commit. So whoever reads your commits, like all the different changes, a commit is a change to your project or an upload to your project, an update. So with each update, you want to have an appropriate message to tell other people or yourself in the future what that message is, or what that update is. So for this example, I'm going to say first commit, because this is going to be the first upload to this project. In the future, if I make changes, I might make that message something else that is relevant. So I'm going to press enter. There you go. As you can see, everything changed here. So everything has been committed. Then I'm going to create a branch that I can push. Don't worry about, if you want to learn more about Git, there are some great videos on YouTube you can go check out. I'm going to say git branch -capital M or uppercase M main. So I'm going to name a branch main. And you can see that changed from master to main. Now I'm in the main branch. And this main branch is what I am going to push. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say git remote add origin, and then whatever your repository link is. I want to say link. I don't think that's the right word, but whatever your let me go back to Git. Go back to your dashboard. Go back to extra features. Go back to Git, and you'll find the URL. So copy the URL that we created at the beginning. This is our repository URL. We want to copy it. You can just press Command C, or you can press Control C if you are on Windows. We're going to go back here and we're going to paste that. Okay. So as you can see here, I now have git remote add origin and then the URL that I'm adding. So what we're doing here is basically we're adding the repository to this project. So we're connecting them. We're basically telling it where to send all the commits to, where to send all the updates to. So in this instance, I want to send it to DirectAdmin via this URL that we created, this repository. So then you just press enter. There you go. It did that. It added that. The next step is very important. What we have to do is we have to go to the config file within SSH, and we have to actually add the correct port. Now, your port will not work if you haven't, this will not work if you do not have the correct port. You have to have the correct port, or otherwise this will not work. GitHub uses port 22, and that's what your machine will probably use by default. But we do not want to use port 22 because it does not work for all hosts. So your host is specific. It will be up to you to find out what your host is and what the port that is relevant to that host is also. So each host has a port it uses, and you must specifically tell your machine what port to use so that the connection will be established successfully. If you do not do that, then your connection will not go through and it will not work. So we're going to go back to the user folder, the whatever user you are in. Go back to the SSH file, and we don't have it here, but I'm going to create a new file here if I can. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to say file, new. Actually, I should probably just create it. So we're actually going to go to Google and we look up how to create a SSH config file, because I cannot remember. I apologize. We can just, let's see what the command is. Let's have a look here at Stack Overflow. Okay, cool. So we're gonna create a file here, touch config. Okay, cool. That's how we're going to create it. So let's first go here. I'm gonna go here. I'm just going to say new terminal add folder for me. You want to open this folder within the terminal, and I'm going to write here just as this man has kindly given me. I'm going to say touch config, and that will create a file named config. There you go. And then we can open it using nano config. I'm not going to do that because I just wanted a config file. As you can see, I've created the file here. I'm going to open it, and then what I'm going to do is we have to add the host like this. So my host in this example is da15.domains.co.za, and my port is 22000. So that's all you need. But again, your host will be different to mine, most likely, and your port will be different to mine, most likely. So depending on what host you're using for the repository, you have to find that out and put in the appropriate details. So anyway, I'm going to save this using Command S. If you're on Windows, you can use Control S. Also, it doesn't matter what text editor you use. This is the default one on Mac, but you can use your default text editor on Windows too. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to go back to my terminal here, and we're almost finished here. Now that we've added the necessary details, we're just going to say git push -u origin main. So this is going to push this entire project, all committed files, which was everything, to the repository within DirectAdmin. So I'm going to push it, and I'm just going to say yes over here, and it's going to be pushing it, and there, it's done. So now if we go back to DirectAdmin, we can refresh here, and we can go to logs, and you can see first commit. It has been pushed successfully. That is fantastic. So we have now got it all uploaded here. It's all available here. That is great. That is what we wanted. So now what we want to do is deploy it. In this instance, deploy just means that I want to send it to a certain file location. So I'm going to go to File Manager. I want to send it to this file here, public HTML. I'm going to go here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all the files that already exist here. I'm going to delete all of them, just for the example in this tutorial. So there's nothing left, okay? I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to say modify. I'm going to select the branch that I want to modify, which is main. Main is the branch we want to modify, and the deployed directory in my instance is public_HTML. So public_HTML. That's the path to get to that file, to that folder. So we want to say public_HTML. Now this won't work because this only works with relative path names. Okay, so if you don't know how path names work and whatever, again, go to YouTube. YouTube is your friend mostly, and just look up how absolute and relative path names work. So to make this relative, in this instance, we're just going to add a full stop or a period right here, like that, and this will take this branch that we just uploaded from our machine, and it's going to add it to the files here. Okay, so I'm going to add it to the files. I'm going to save. Then I'm going to deploy. That default deploy will work. Deploy completed. Okay, so we've set up the deployment location, and now we've deployed it. Now if I go back here and refresh this, reload it, all of my files are here. So that is really cool. So it all works. Now if I go to that link, a garden family, this is the website of which I just uploaded those files to. Now reload this page, Look at this. Everything is here as it should be.